morning. Thanks for still being here at the end of the school, last day. You will have only me this morning. I hope you don't mind. And we'll talk about some tools we haven't seen this week for software quality. And then I will talk about software publication, what we need to put in place to ensure that we publish the software in a good way. The slides are online and you can follow here. So, quality tools first. Does it? Okay. Okay. So I will explain what they are, recommend a few ones, and you will have time to try yourself and see how to configure these tools. So what we call quality tools are tools that can help you in the daily process of developing software to automate bug detection, enforce consistency, improve readability, detect security issues that we talked about yesterday, and yeah, accelerate the development and support testing practices. So every quality aspect that we have seen this week. There are different types of tools. Linters and formatters are for style and formatting. We'll see one. Type checkers for static type analysis. Some security scanners. And then you have more complex analyzer for code complexity. And also doc checkers. And these tools, they should integrate in your workflow. They should not come as a burden, but really be in the background and help you without you really noticing. So we have two main types, static and dynamic analysis. So static analysis run without running the code, so it's pretty fast. It will just analyze the source code with templates and things like that. It applies some predefined rules and patterns, so there is no execution needed. We'll see some of them just after. And dynamic analysis run the code, so it's usually much slower, but more in depth. This is the kind of analysis we have seen, for example, for the benchmark and performance testing, where you need to run the code to see which part is slower. It can check logic errors, runtime failures, performance bottlenecks, memory leaks we have seen as well, and integration issues. So first, linters and formatters. So linters, they will analyze the code for style validation. So there is this pip-audit style rules for Python, for example. Some potential bugs, because some bugs, they always have the same pattern. Code smells and best practice violation. Some popular linters for Python, maybe you have heard of Flake 8, which is the most classic, Pylint, and we have a quite recent one, Ruff, that we will test just after. Formatters will reformat the code to make it more readable, so you don't have to do that manually. And again, we have some popular ones. Black is very popular and very opinionated, meaning that you can't configure it. It's one set of rules that you cannot change. And Ruff also format the code, so that's why I will recommend this one. You can do both. So Ruff has been written in Rust, that's why it's really fast and replaces all the other linters and formatters. tried to make something very comprehensive. So to install, you can pip install or pixie add Ruff. But you can also use it integrated in the IDE, like VS Code extension. And for basic usage, you can check with Ruff check. You can auto-fix some of the issues of the linter and format the code with the format command. You can also add a configuration. It can be a ruff.toml file or integrated in the PyProject.toml. It's read automatically when you run Ruff. And you can specify some of the, so for example, some files or directory to exclude, the line length that you prefer, and select some specific rules. So usually they come from previous tools, like using isort, PyCode style, errors and warnings, PyFlakes errors, etc. And you can also ignore specific rules for specific files. So for example, for notebooks, you could ignore, well, this should be for another extension probably for notebooks. You can ignore the line length in notebooks because usually we don't care too much about that. Okay, so that will be the first exercise for you. You can go back to the pCoffee project and add Ruff and run check, see if there are any issues. Probably there won't be because it's been linted, so it depends what is the state of your pCoffee project. Same for format. If there are no problem, maybe you can mess a bit with the files and functions to change the format, like remove some space extra and see what it does. And if you have VS Code or another IDE with an extension, you can install Ruff like that with the extension. And same thing, try to mess a bit with the file, and normally with autosave, it should, or when you save, it should format everything instantly. While you do that, I'll try to fix my screen sharing. So, how is it going? Did you manage to install, check, format? Yes, all the checks should pass. So yeah, maybe try to modify one file, one function, just to see it in action. So the advantage of a tool like Ruff is that you won't care about that anymore after. Formatting will be done in the background, and you don't have to argue also with your fellow collaborators. There is one set of rules for everyone in the project. So you can add the configuration in the repo, and then everyone has the same style. And this is not something you need to discuss anymore in the pull request.
When I run format,
yes,
it tells me that he have reformatted files, but he have changed my content without asking me and telling me what he's going to do. So is there a way to make a dry run or to have an explanation before to apply the transformation?
I see. It's a good question. I'm not sure you can do that actually.
Yes, but when I run format,
yes,
it tells yes you.
You can do a dry run. Or
I ask the question.
Yeah,
he tells me I have done that, and it just tell me that he has reformatted 9 files.
Yes,
but I don't.
You don't see all the changes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Maybe look at the help. I'm not sure if you can see all the changes. But so it should do things that don't change the code. The code should execute the exact same way. But yes, it will, for example, resort the import in the alphabetic order. It will reformat the function and things that are not following the style.
Okay.
But the code should execute exactly the same way. That's something you can also check maybe.
Yes, and I'm going to
And then,
do
yes,
a git
you can
diff,
make your pull request and see in the pull request
also
the changes. Yeah.
Okay. And for the ID,
Yeah.
which extension do you recommend? Because there is a
In VS Code, it's called Ruff extension by
Astral software?
by Astral. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Astral is the company developing Ruff. Okay. Now let's talk about type checking, another static analyzer. So type checking will help you to find issues like this one. So when you define the types in your function, and then you try to run the function with the wrong type, it will see that automatically without running the code. So you can find some bugs early. So yeah, catch bugs before runtime. Also, your IDE will show, will underline these problems. And it helps you to refactor the code if you need. So one I can recommend is TY. So it's from the same company as Ruff. So also made in Rust. So it's really fast, same thing. You can have some rules as well to ignore or with different levels, so error 1 and ignore rules. And you can ignore some of the type check if you really know what you are doing. There's something in your code, you don't want this to be checked. You can add this comment, TY ignore, at the end of the line, and TY won't look at this line. Same thing, you can have an extension in VS Code. The installation goes same way. And for the usage, it's ty check directory or a file. Same, you can have a configuration file, ty.toml, or in the Py project. It's also read when you run the tool. You can include some specific directories or exclude other ones. And there are some rules as well for ty. Same exercise, install ty, add config, you can add this one, and run ty check. So I will leave this one up. This one, if depending on where you are in the Coffee project, might run some errors. Because I think Vincent was using a different type checker. And if you want to, okay, if you have many errors, maybe you can run on a very specific file and limit you to yourself to this file to fix a few ones.
Would we add this to by project? Do we have to add anything else?
If you add to Py projects, what, sorry?
Do we need to add any additional?
No. No. It should read the config by itself in the Py project. Okay, yeah. I'm on main, and I have all these issues currently with the type checker. Some of them are because these ignore were not for TY, so you'll have to maybe remove them. And there is a, yes, okay, there is a more complex issue with the protocol. I think TY is not really happy with that. Maybe you can check a single file to make it easier. Okay, we have 10 of them, and if I let's try if I use TY instead here. Okay, still complaining. Sorry, what?
I thought no QA was used for most of these tools. It's a no QA colon. I think it's usually it's for use also for ref chains. I'm not sure if the props tied. It's certainly well,
Where is it? Ah, yeah, for example. Okay, yeah. So type was for maybe Mypy. I don't know which one Vincent used. But yeah, the replacing with no QA removed one of the diagnostic. Otherwise, you can try with a simple function like the one in the example to see it in action in a simple case. Okay, did you manage to at least install and or using the VS Code extension? No answers.
No,
Take it for yes.
It says that if I copy this into the Py project,
Yeah.
and complain. So it's like not.
It's include and exclude and unnamed field.
Include and exclude are not recognized? Are not filtered?
Unknown
Ah,
fields.
really? Hmm. Configuration reference here. Ah, maybe the name of the section was not right, because include and exclude are the right name.
Maybe it's between two brackets.
Yeah. Here that's the Yeah, make sure to use this one. I don't know this. So, okay, this is, I think, the right section. So tool.ui.source, which, okay, this was missing here in the config. Is this working? Okay, sorry for that. I will fix that in the slide after. Okay, I think you get the message. Then let's see some security scanners. So these scanners can detect some security issues. They can also see if you leaked some secrets like tokens, API keys, things like that. Some known insecure function also they will let you know. Also, when you can enter a path, any path in a function, usually that's considered as insecure because someone could go look at a file outside of what you meant to pass. So yeah, they can protect your data, prevent security breaches, meet some requirements if you have any in your field, and of course build trust with other developers. One for Python is Bandit. The install, you know. There is also an ID integration, and you can have also a config, and there is a complete list of tests of security issues that you can find here. It's and you can see for all of them what is the problem. Maybe I can give you also 1 minute to try that and see, for example, get the report in a different format. So I'll try as well. Sorry. It's okay. So for me, it ran without any security issue on source at least. And you can see here the JSON report. It will, all the rules or the security checks are defined in two sections, confidence and severity. So if Bandit is very confident in this problem or not, and if it's severe or not. So of course, start with the high confidence and severe ones. Okay. There are other security scanners, probably I mentioned a few of them after, that can complement Bandit for Python, and for other languages you will find other scanners. One I can also mention, which is language agnostic, is Dependabot. It's native to GitHub, so it's really integrated in GitHub. It will monitor, for example, your dependencies. And we mentioned yesterday, or Justin mentioned and showed that the dependencies are actually the main problem in security. And Dependabot will scan that and make automated pull requests in your repo to update dependencies that have security issues. It supports multiple ecosystems, including Python. One drawback for this tool and what we showed is that Pixie is a quite a recent ecosystem, is not yet supported. But UV is, so if you do pure Python, you can use UV and it will detect the dependencies. So it will have a security alert for you, make the version updates with an automatic PR creation. You can configure it to do that on schedule, so for example, once per week, and to group all the related updates in this single PR. You can also configure it through a config file. Here it's a .github dependabot.yaml file. And here, for example, you see two ecosystems in the same config. So here I want to check my pip dependencies weekly on Monday. I can set a limit on the number of pull requests. I can set some labels and some reviewer for for the pull requests. And that's a different one. That's for GitHub Actions. So same ID. When you use, some in GitHub Action, you can use different things from from the marketplace. It will also check that and update the dependencies for you. So you can try right now. So to enable Dependabot, it will be in the settings of the GitHub repo directly. There is a link here in the slides. If I manage to click on it, can I move that? Okay, this is. Okay. This is the quick start to explain how it works, and to actually enable it, you go to the repo, to the settings, and in advanced security here, you will find the Dependabot section. Here you can also configure a bit what you want Dependabot to look at. And do I have no. An example. Maybe in the user repo. Yes. So this is an example of Dependabot pull request. So here you will see the bot with the comment why you should update these dependencies. And then in the file change, you can see here, so it wants to update the action checkout that we often use in the actions to the latest version. Same here, well, it's all for checkout. And also the create pull request, so another action. So it's very convenient because I just have to quickly look at the pull requests. I don't have to make the changes myself. I can just merge that. This way we have at least basic security checks without being an expert.
Sorry, can you show again where is the Dependabot?
Yes. So you go to your own repo. Here I'm in the S3 School 1. You go to Settings, Advanced Security, and here you can find Dependabot. And then once you have enabled it, if you want to have a more defined config, you can add the file I showed. Okay, I think you managed to find where it is. You can enable it and see maybe if it opens a pull request later for you. Let's continue. Some other tools I wanted to show. Pip-audit is a bit in the same way as Dependabot. It will look at dependencies and find vulnerable packages. It's really for the Python environment. This one maybe you can also try, Interrogate. This will measure your Docstring coverage. So yesterday we talked about documentation. So it's based on the Docstring you add in all the function in your project. And Interrogate will, the same as the PyTest coverage, it will measure your Docstring coverage. Okay, so we have a coverage of 86.7% in the PCOFI currently. It will let me know per file what's the coverage. And with the default config, it considers it passed with a minimum of 80%. So now we pass the coverage. But of course, you can change that value. So this way you can know where to look at to improve your Docstring.
What is looking at? Exactly, because you can put also an empty chain.
Yes, no, I think it just look at if there is a Docstring or not. It's quite simple. Of course, you can always cheat the tool. And we talked about Docker this week. So you have also linters for Docker files. One is Hadolint. It will also look at the style, but also check some best practices and security issues and efficiency as well. The install here is a bit more complex because it's not a Python tool. And it will depend on your system. So for Mac, that might be brew install Hadolint. There is also a Dockerfile that you can use to lint your Docker, a Docker image that you can use to lint your Docker image, your Docker file, sorry. So some common checks are base image pinning. So, the from, it's considered best practice to use the latest. You should pin your image. It can optimize the layers when you use several ones, for example, security and copy versus add usage. Yes, pre-commit. So I wanted to also mention that, maybe not try now, but pre-commits are a tool that runs, it's a tool that runs before commits. So you can also install it with pip in your environment and then do a pre-commit install. It will, I think when you install, create the config, default config that you can then edit. And it will use some hooks or some other tool that will run every time you do a commit. So this way, you cannot commit something which is not passing the test you define here. So in this config, for example, I'm using some pre-commit hooks that they recommend or that they define to just remove the trailing white space, to check if I have added any large file in my git add before I commit. I can do here some action lint, so the GitHub Action YAML files. We saw when we were trying with the GitHub Action that we had many issues with that, some misspelled and problem in the linting of the files, so that will allow you to detect that. You can also run Ruff this way in a pre-commit, so to make sure it always runs before you commit. Git leaks is to check if you leaked any credential, token, API key. So this way it checks before you commit, so it will never go to your repo. I didn't necessarily plan for you to test it now, but I think it was knowing this tool.
This runs even locally.
Yes, it runs locally. Yeah. Even though it uses here some things that are defined in other repos like that, it will install and run locally before you commit. Yeah.
Yes, but you need internet access to the repo, or you can prepare the, if you want to.
No, it will install. For example, if you use Ruff here, it will install it locally. So.
Okay, so if you don't have internet access, you can commit.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no. If it doesn't pass, you won't commit, but you can use the tool.
If you don't have internet access, so you can't access to the commit hooks, for example.
No, I think they will all be installed when you do the pre-commit install. What I meant is that you
the install command is reading the config file and pre-install all the dependencies.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. If I remember correctly, I haven't used pre-commit for a very long time now.
Sorry for the question.
No, it's a good question. But yeah, I think it runs all locally with the install. Yeah. Mainly myself, I stopped using that because of all the IDE integration. So most of the tools I used were in the IDE, so they run automatically, but it's worth checking. So this is your quality workflow. When you write code, you will run usually you should run all the tools before committing. If they pass, you can commit and push. So for the automation options, we mentioned pre-commit hooks, IDE integration, but of course you can also add these tools in your CI/CD. So they will run the checks during the CI and for a pull request, for example, and prevent the merge if they don't pass. That's a way to make sure that everyone is merging code that follows the rules you established. And yeah, of course, you should start manually and check things and add your config and then automate as you get more comfortable. So one exercise for you now is to add Ruff and Interrogate to your CI/CD, so to the pcoffee GitHub Actions. And one hint, you can look directly in the GitHub Action Marketplace, where you can find the configs that are predefined. I think I will leave you 5 to 10 minutes for that.
Just to add an info, I've tried this kind of tools the past, and I used different linter or format checker like black and
Yes.
I don't remember which one, and the policy was different. So I use a linter, a formatter, he modify my code. Then I use black, he modify my code, but it's not compatible with the first one. So
But it was the same formatter, you mean
it
locally?
was black and in the same code, and they have not the same rule.
No, yeah.
So I have to. It was I never have a code that can pass all the tests, and I had to use the pipe project toml to modify rules, default rules applied by each formatter to have something that is compatible between all the formatters.
I see what
So
you
if
mean,
you
yes.
use multiple tools,
Yes, it
in
can
CI,
be messy.
yes, you have to check that.
So for lint and format, use Ruff.
Yes.
So you have one tool. Interrogate is a different check, so it should not complain or not. Yeah, it should be okay with Ruff. But yeah, I see it happened also. Yeah, to me.
And I didn't understand why my CI always fail. Say, okay, there is always a problem because they modify.
Because
Yes.
you reformat on your local computer
Yes,
and then
and,
push and then it complains. Yeah, so that's why you need to configure it and have one defined config for everyone. You can find this Ruff action, and here it will provide the basic GitHub action config that I can just copy paste in a YAML file in my .github workflows. So basic one you should take, for example, here to check the source directory. And this will go in .github workflows. And here you can create a new file. For example, the lint.yaml here. So remember, you need at least a name on to know where to run the workflow. So here I want to run on pull request to the main branch. And then jobs give, again, a name, so lint here, and where it, on what machine it should run, on what Docker image. So here, Ubuntu latest. I check out the code, and here I run different things. So Ruff check, Ruff format, and TY. Here I installed the Ruff and TY with a Pixie. You don't necessarily need to do that with this Ruff action. If you use that, it will pull the Docker image with Ruff, and you don't need to install in the Pixie environment like I did here. And once you have that, if you go to your action, so it will run on pull request, and you can see here in our solution repo that we had for linting different checks in the past. Some of them did not pass. There were some linting issues here. So the merge request was blocked. Did you manage to add that? Okay. Okay. Final exercise for this first lecture, I think. You can add badge to your README. So you probably have already seen this kind of badges or maybe used yourself. These are small pictures, small badge that you can add in the README file to show either some tools that you are using, but also they can be dynamic, so can show if your tests are passing live in the README or the percentage of coverage that you reach with PyTest coverage, for example, thing like that. So that's an exercise for you. We'll use also badges in the second lecture. So for that, you go to your Action tab in GitHub. Try to do that in parallel here. So if I go back to Actions, here on the left, I can see my different type of actions. And here in the top right, I can select Create Status Batch. And it will give me this markdown text that I can copy and paste in the README file. And it will appear like that in the GitHub page. So let's see. I don't remember if I actually did. No. Let's try right now. Like that. And if I preview, I can see this linting passing batch. You can also create your own custom badge with the shields.io. So this is this website. And here I can change the label. And a pass to, for example, a GitHub action. So take the same one as before. No, that should work. Okay. So if you have something specific you want to show in your repo, that's a way to make a custom batch. Okay, so we have still a few minutes. You can try to add your badge from the CI you just did before in your README, and I will let you with this list of resources. And if you have any question or if I can help, let me know. Maybe one actually resource I can show again. I showed in the first lecture, but some of these tools I showed you can find again in the Everse Tech Radar. They are categorized under the dimension, the quality dimension. So if you want to improve security, for example, or maintainability of your software, you will find different tools. And also depending on the software tier. So if you have a small analysis code or a big research infrastructure software, we will recommend different tools. So for example, for bigger software, we recommend SonarQube. And for smaller, here you can find again Bandit, Hadolint, and some Git leaks I mentioned as well, extra. And you can filter for different tags or, yeah. So this can help you as well to find some nice tools that are used in the research communities. So, and if you have one tool that you use in your everyday work and you don't find it here, you can also make a pull request to the Tech Radar to add it. And the Ask You Kit is where you will find the tasks and how to do things. So yeah, go look at that. Okay. I think more or less managed for the GitHub Action and badge. It's not too complicated. So I think we can have the coffee break right after.